kung fu.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I have another action classic for you in 1972's Fist of Fury, starring the legendary Bruce Lee. Fist of Fury, to me, depending on who you ask, I mean, there might be some people who have a different opinion on this, but to me, Fist of Fury is one of Bruce Lee's greatest films. And it's probably his first great film. Bruce Lee had this weird stretch of time throughout the 70s where he would have his 5 best movies. He would have Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, The Chinese Connection, and, well, Deadly Games, or Game of Death. I don't know why I keep saying Deadly Games, Game of Death. But Fist of Fury, to me, was the first one. It was the breakout one, because this movie is one of those movies where when you go back and watch it, you just see the origins of so many of his mannerisms, of so much of his vocals, his look, the facial expressions, the actions, the sound design, the sound effects on his punches and kicks, and when he's using the nunchucks. So much of it really began in this movie. Now, like I say, you could argue that it happened in movies before this. He did have some movies before this one, but this one, to me, I feel like it's not his most iconic movie. It's not his greatest movie. Obviously, I think Way of the Dragon and Enter the Dragon are actually superior movies to this one, but I've already reviewed Enter the Dragon and I couldn't find Way of the Dragon anywhere, so I went with Fist of Fury, which is not a bad go. Was not a bad get. Now, Fist of Fury follows Chan, and Chan has returned home to China, to Shanghai, after the tragic death of his teacher. Now, he's back, and he's kind of emotional about the death of his teacher. He doesn't know what's happening. He's conflicted. He's like, what the fuck? What is happening? He's coming back. Everyone is mourning, and he's at the funeral in this all white suit, and he's just confused, like, what the fuck is happening? But Chen knows in his heart that the last time he saw his teacher looked healthy as a hawk. Look healthy. So he's like, how the fuck did he die? And Chen feels conflicted about it. Chen he has no proof of what happened, but he feels conflicted about it. He feels fucked up about it. He's upset about it, but he's like, whatever, you know what? All right. But then the Japanese show up. And now this movie takes place in 1910. This movie takes place during the Japanese occupation of China, which is a topic that you might think sounds familiar. It was also about roughly the time period Ip Man took place. And, you know, Ip Man kind of took place in this kind of same era where China was, you know, in this really weird occupation by Japan. And like I say, it's a topic that's brought up a lot in these older movies. It's also something that was brought up in the Fist of Fury movie with Jet Li. It's a time period, and it's a topic, and it's an area that they don't really make any movies about anymore. But it was very popular back in the day to make movies about that, because just that time period in the way it kind of fits in this battle between Japanese martial arts and Chinese martial arts, and who has the better martial arts. And there's always been this thing, but this is where this movie takes place in this time period. So right now, there's this Japanese dojo trying to open up, or just recently opened up, and they pretty much are trying to big time this Chinese dojo that, you know, Chen goes to. And they come in, they start talking their shit, they start bullying around, and right now Chen is like, dude, they do this on the day of his teacher's funeral, the day after his teacher's funeral. Chen is piped up, so Chen goes and whoops the shit out of all those motherfuckers, or at least all the students, and he starts this beef between them, this give and take war, kind of more or less starts between them. And when Chen's finally kind of calmed down, he's like, okay, maybe I went too far. Maybe I shouldn't have done what I did. He discovers that not only is this dojo, this Japanese dojo, trying to put his dojo out of business, They're also responsible for the death of his teacher, as he finds out his teacher was poisoned. So now he is going to use his fist of fury to get revenge. Now, this movie is crazy. No, it's pretty straightforward. The movie itself is pretty straightforward, but just the stuff they do with Bruce Lee is sort of outrageous. First of all, Chin is insanely strong. Like, laughably strong. Like, it's funny, because he's badass. Okay, he's killing fools with a single punch. Like, just bam in the chest, dead. But he's also, there's multiple sequences where he is straight up windmilling, picks up two guys, and just throws them. Grown-ass man just throws them. Like, there's a scene where, I can't remember what those carts are called, those wheel carts that are, like, that the guy grabs and he kind of, like, walks around, like the man carts. I can't remember what those are called, those, like, the transport carts that they have. But he picks one of those motherfuckers up with a grown man inside of it and throws him and the fucking thing. I'm like, oh my God, how strong is this man? They went crazy. And maybe it's because I know how small Bruce Lee actually is. Because, you know, movie, you know, look behind the scene things, you know, interviews, look it up. Like, I know how small he is. It just felt so outrageous. It's like, what in the hell? I will say, there are two parts of this movie that kind of, like, veer into the silliness. His outrageous strength. I mean, this motherfucker's crushing skulls with his fucking foot, dude. I mean, he's breaking, like, I get punching, like, the throat or, you know, a spot, but he is literally caving people's chest in with a punch. But I digress. The crazy strength is a bit ridiculous. It is insane. But the funny bit, the bit that's kind of hilarious, so at a certain point, once he discovers that they're responsible for the death of his teacher, all bets are off. He's just, basically, he gets these odd jobs to stay close to the Japanese dojo, waiting for the opportunity to where there's enough of the people gone that he can go in there and kill the teacher, because he's like the teacher, you know, kill the teacher because he discovers the teacher, the head teacher of the Japanese dojo is the one who ordered the assassination of his teacher. So he's just sitting there and working these odd jobs, dude. Like, first, like I said, he's as a fake cart guy. He's sitting there in this gray wig and shit at the door, like at the door of the dojo. He pretends to be a telephone repairman. Like, it's weird. Like, he's just working these odd jobs, and of course, no one recognizes him because he's wearing a hat, because he's wearing glasses and a hat. Oh, because he's wearing a wig. He's wearing a fucking gray wig. It's like, bruh, I didn't even know they had, where the fuck did you get a gray wig from? But I digress. Like, it's funny. I'm not gonna lie. It is pretty funny to see him have these terrible disguises and just trick these guys. Like, that, the disguise part gets a bit on the sillier side, but what is not silly about this movie is the action. Because the first big action sequence, the first one-man, now I don't know if this is the first true one of these one-man army sequences, like one against a bunch sequences that I've seen from him, but I think that this is definitely the first one I had seen from him. The one-man army, everyone's circling him just confidently in the middle, just whooping all of their asses and just doing all the shit that you have seen Bruce Lee do. The kicks, the punches, the looks, the nunchucks. Like, that entire sequence in the dojo, that first action sequence, is probably the best one in the movie. In my personal opinion, there's some good ones in the movie, obviously, especially the final fight when he fights the Russian and whatnot. But that final scene, that first scene where he's in the dojo and he just whoops all their asses, it was the best fight sequence of the movie. And I think it's a very iconic fight sequence. I think it's a fight sequence that's been parodied, that's been done over again in other movies. Other movies have harped on that sequence. It's a sequence that's kind of synonymous with Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee is pretty much the greatest kung fu action star of all time. I mean, he's one of the greatest action stars of all time, but he's definitely the face of kung fu itself. And I don't think any scene really epitomizes what Bruce Lee was all about. From that first opening sequence in this movie where he is surrounded and he is cool as a cucumber, calm and confident, just let's get this shit done. Which has always been the great thing about Bruce Lee's characters that he plays. He plays them with such confidence and such, it's arrogance, but like, I don't know how to describe it. Like even looking at this old movie, I'm like, his mannerisms, the confidence, and like I say, it's almost arrogance, and he's almost playing with you. Like, I am so much better than you. Like that's the vibes he oozes off the screen, and like Bruce Lee's presence is, you know, even though this isn't the best Bruce Lee movie, his presence, the action sequences, especially that first one, there are shots from this movie that I think are very memorable. That Fist of Fury is an iconic movie. It's with, like I said, it's one of the 5 best Bruce Lee movies, and I would give Fist of Fury an 8 out of 10. I loved it. What did you guys think? Have you seen Fist of Fury? It is on Tubi if you're wondering if you want to go watch it and see it. It's a fun movie. It has some great action sequences, although it can be a bit silly with the outrageous strength and the ridiculous disguises. It's like, it was just so weird, because this is a movie where a man is going around killing people with a single punch, and then he's like got glasses on and a hat, pretending to be a telephone guy. But I digress. I had a lot of fun watching this. Anyways, guys, comment below and let me know. Have you seen Fist of Fury? And if you have not, you should check it out. It's on Tubi. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you.